In Jamaica, legislators in the Senate have finally begun the debate on whether the island should switch from the UK Privy Council to the Caribbean Court of Justice CCJ. Tanika Thomas was in the Senate on Friday and tells us more.
A vote for the CCJ or a decision to stay with the UK-based Privy Council. That's a profound decision Jamaican lawmakers are being asked to make, and on Friday both sides of the upper house began offering their varied positions on the very critical matter. Justice Minister Senator Mark Golding opened the debate on the three bills needed for the country to accede the jurisdiction of the CCJ, thereby parting ways with the UK Privy Council. Senator Golding provided several arguments why Jamaica should get on board with the CCJ. He notes that the CCJ is more accessible and affordable to Jamaican litigants when compared to the Privy Council. He pointed to the exorbitant fees a legal team must acquire before having its case heard in the UK. Then there are other prohibitive costs like obtaining visas, air travel, and accommodation in London. The Justice Minister says it would cost US $60 to file an appeal in the regional court compared to £5,000 under the British system.
To give an example of the scale of the increase, prior to 2013, there was a flat fee of £370, about 67,000 Jamaican dollars for filing a case, just for filing a case. But the new filing fees range from £400, which is 72,000 Jamaican dollars, to a whopping £5,000, which is 900,000 Jamaican dollars.
Meanwhile, the Justice Minister believes it's high time as an independent nation that Jamaica no longer depends on the jurisprudence of Britain.
How can we continue the colonial arrangement of having our most important legal questions still being decided for us by the UK Privy Council? As Jamaicans bemoan what is regarded by many as the insensitivity of the UK Prime Minister towards the continuing painful legacy of slavery on our people, a legacy which is yet to be reconciled, how can we stomach having our judicial sovereignty in the hands of British judges sitting in a court which emerged from the slavery era?
However, opposition spokesman on justice, Senator Alexander Williams, contends that Jamaica should convene its own final appellate court. He's also calling for a referendum on the matter.
So I ask the question now, do we know if the Jamaican people want the CCJ? Would it be prudent to proceed in the way contemplated by these bills without really knowing what the Jamaican people want? Hence, a referendum is what we should have. Mr. President, the Jamaican people need to understand very carefully what the implications are in having a final court such as the CCJ being our final court. In my speech here today, I've outlined only some of the implications. That is, a court, if set up by a two-thirds majority of parliamentarians, can be changed by a two-thirds majority of parliamentarians. A court that ultimately is subject to the will of the majority of other Caribbean nations who may not always see eye to eye with us.
For his part, Government Senator K.D. Knight said a referendum would be a political ploy.
Let us use intellectual rigor, skilled analysis, and a bold approach to remove ourselves from one of the last remnants of colonialism. And in so doing, let us not pitch two tabernacles, one for the JP and one for the PNP. Because if we should go to a referendum, it is inevitable that a significant percentage of the voters would reflect party cleavages and would not vote based on pure reason.
Mr. Knight cautioned that the outcome of the referendum could prove even more problematic.
Let a decision be made by the people between the CCJ and the Privy Council. and the people say, the Privy Council. What do? Entrench the Privy Council in our Constitution? Entrench it in our Constitution? We have no jurisdiction to do that. So we must be careful what we ask for, because the consequences may be beyond us.
Tanika Thomas reporting for CEEN Caribbean News.